Good afternoon. This is lunchtime with Mr. G on Mr. G's Hard Truth. And today I have a special guest. I would like to welcome you, my brother. Thank you for showing up to the show.
What up, Mr. G? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. So, would you please tell the audience your name and your age?
Well, my name is Andres. My age, I just turned 40 now in
All
January.
right.
So I hit the big 4-0 now, you know what I'm saying?
There you go. Welcome to the big 40s, man. Um, so, this conversation is dealing with mental health and substance abuse. And I hear that you're in this field.
Yeah. Well, I'm in this field. I am an ex-addict. I had trouble with alcohol and pills back in my days. This is how I ended up in the field. Um, yeah, I had a rough time with alcohol and pills for like damn there almost 10 years. It took
Okay.
me almost took me out a couple of times, but I pulled through. Thank God by the strength of God and myself, and yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how I ended up in this field.
Okay, great. So, this is Mr. G's format, man, and I deal with the hard truth. So the question I got for you is, how is it day to day working in your occupation?
Well, day to day, working in my occupation, the one thing I could say, I'm always surprised. There's never a dull moment, and it's always action. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with people that are in suffering for substance abuse is chaotic. Is There's a lot of sad times. There's a lot of um you know just trying to figure out the best way to get the people together and get the help that they deserve, just like I got it. So I wake up in the morning knowing that I'm coming to work, that it's not going to be the same as yesterday. It's going to be a different situation, a different story, and trying to best figure out how to get the help that they need.
All right, interesting. So what title do you fall under in
I'm a
your
peer,
occupation?
yeah, I'm a SERPA. I'm a peer advocate, peer
Okay.
recovery treatment peer, however you want to call it. That's what I am. So I'm here to
Oh,
walk through with the client. I'm here to support them. I'm here to hear them and share my story the best way I can, so they could get some insight of how to obtain recovery in one way or the other, and the best way that could suit them in their path of recovery.
fair enough. Not a lot of people in your field get the recognition that they deserve. So I admire you stepping out into the battlefield every day. Do you do outreach?
Yeah, we do outreach um in parks. We do outreach in we've done outreach in shelters. We done outreach in the street. Drugs are everywhere. There's people suffering from this addiction everywhere. So everywhere is outreach. My neighborhood, I'm pretty sure, well, my old neighborhood, my mother's neighborhood, any neighborhood you walk through, there's some type of substance abuse going on. So it's like there's an outreach all the time. But
Yes.
sometimes I gotta do self care and know to put a pause on it. And when I can, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So even with helping all of these people, and like you said, you do outreach. What other modalities are you stationed in?
I do inpatient.
Hmm.
I currently work in the outpatient. That's my home right there, outpatient, and I'm working in the inpatient as well as part time.
What's that inpatient situation like?
She was a P. I lived in the inpatient for a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
see both sides. At the end of the day, I lived there for a year and a half. It was great when I lived there. Of course, there's ups and downs to everything. It wasn't always sweet, and but now I see the other side that I work there. It is
Yeah.
it is difficult. It is difficult. You get your patients that come in fresh out the street. You get your patients that come in just not really looking for recovery. They just need a place to stay. There are people that come in that are just ready to party. So it's just all different walks of life, trying to situate and best see who's here to get what and all that. So it gives you a run for your money for sure. But
All
you
right,
know,
I can see that. I can see that happening. Another question for you. You was talking about self care, and I wanted to know how this affects you with you being in recovery as well. And what are the things that you do for self care?
well, I work out. That's one thing. I definitely work out. I try to eat as healthy as possible. Like you said, yes, it is difficult for a lot of peers to do. It's difficult to always be in the face of addiction all day, knowing that I'm one thought away or one trigger away from talking to somebody and be like and get a thought myself. So self care is very, very important. And one thing that I could say that I work with an amazing team in my outpatient. They are damn their family. We always go, we go out, we do activities together, we talk with each other all the time, and it just keeps me grounded that I could have people around me when I am probably going through a thought or a trigger or something that I could just go down the hallway to an office, three offices that I could knock on each of them door and talk to them or what I'm going through in life, period. And I have an amazing director, amazing boss that her door is always open. She's always in communication. She's very caring. So I think self care is very important. And if you have a team that knows your situation and knows when you're going through and they'll pull you up when you messing up, there's no comparison to having that. So self care is taking care of self, but knowing your circle as well, that I believe.
That's great. And as you're saying that, I also want to commend you for being able to jump on at a moment's notice. You know, and I could see how it could be a little awkward, but you was willing to take on the task so you can get this information out of here. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate your efforts and the way that you go about showing the recovery world the support. You know, that you relay to the public. Now, another question I have for you is: do you see the recovery scenario in everyday life? Like, do you see addiction? Like, do you have these conversations outside of work, or is it kind of taboo to have these conversations? Outside of work, where it's the common norm to see addiction everywhere, and being able to deal with mental health and substance abuse hand in hand. During work hours. Do you want to elaborate on that?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I try my best to leave work at work. For the simple fact of going back to self care. Unfortunately, the drug game got like way worse. It's more way more rapid, and addiction is everywhere. Addiction is everywhere. You could see addiction in gambling. You could see addiction in food. You could see addiction everywhere. So that topic does come up a lot. And when I go to family functions, they ask me about my past and how my recovery process and how I made it possible to be in 4 years in recovery and this and that. So the topic usually really comes up a lot. I'm always down to educate anybody about it. I'm always down to talk about my past about it because that's what got me. It got me here now.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm not going around. Hey, you know about addiction? Hey, you know what? I don't do that. But if the topic comes up, yes, it's something that I think most people should be educated. A lot of people are not as educated as they think they are, and yeah, absolutely. If the topic comes up and people want to chop it up about addiction and how it is, absolutely, I'm always down for that too.
All right. And I'm gonna dig deeper in part two. I just wanted to scratch the surface on this first interview because it's time sensitive. This is Mr. G's lunch hour. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna cut it up.
I gotta I gotta go back to work, bro. So
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it.
tomorrow my other lunch hour. I
Yeah.
got
So
you. Anytime I got you.
yeah, so I definitely appreciate the time. And where you from? Just to give people a idea of the demographics that you had to come up in.
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely from Washington Heights. That's home.
The
Absolutely.
Heights.
You
Okay.
already know about the Heights, right above
Yeah.
Harlem. You know how that goes over there. So yeah, I'm definitely from the Heights. So that's home.
Okay. And one last question before we get out of here. Um, do you see more mental health at work or outside of work?
Yeah. At this point, it's like 50-50. The train alone, I'd be like, damn,
Yeah.
my clients ain't acting like that. What the fuck is going on out here? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's why look, I thank you, and that's why we're on a hard truth because we're going to talk about things that people may be uncomfortable talking about, and we're going to get it out because this is about education. We're dealing with mental health and substance abuse. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. G's Hard Truth. Dre, you have a great day, my brother.
Have a good one, my brother.
Thank you.
All right.